Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be sharing with you what I eat in a week. So this is from the week of June 8th to the 14th. I recorded everything that I ate, kept a food journal, and I took pictures of a lot of what I was eating and a lot of what I prepped. So I'm going to share that with you in this video. I hope you enjoy it. So Monday morning / afternoon, the first thing that I ate was this, I called it a vegetable crisper salad bowl. It was just me trying to get rid of a lot of what was going bad in my fridge. So commonly I'll just use random things I already have pre-prepared in my fridge, put them together and try and build a salad around it essentially. So it's a base of greens. It's arugula and kale, which is a Costco blend by the company Earth Greens. And then I have sweet potato that's cooked in there, hard-boiled eggs, and steamed cauliflower. And the avocado, it was just mashed avocado with lime and cumin added. So all of those things were going bad and just needed to be used. So I just whipped them up. I steamed the cauliflower, I broiled the sweet potato, and then I did a dozen hard-boiled eggs just to have on hand and keep some in the fridge as well for extra protein and just toppers on salads. So that was my first meal on Monday. And as a dressing for the salad, I used a maple Dijon vinaigrette, which I will link for you. Okay, so Monday night for supper, I did a little cheese and sausage platter. Then I added pickles, cucumbers, tzatziki, and hard-boiled eggs. I was somewhat unprepared on Monday night, so I just did a little platter up like that, and I didn't get a picture of it. So Monday evening for a snack, I had an apple, a chocolate keto square that's 85% dark, and a chocolate chip oatmeal cookie that I had made. Tuesday morning, I started the day with freshly squeezed lime water, and I drank freshly squeezed lime water throughout the day. For breakfast, it was an omelet with 3 eggs, cheese, sauerkraut, and hot sauce. I really didn't have an appetite. I just ate breakfast so that I could take my vitamins. I ate about half of that and then saved the other half and ate that later in the day. Like I said, this is an egg and cheese omelet with sauerkraut and hot sauce. Tuesday for lunch, again, I got a little weird and I did a blend of the different leftovers that I had. So there was the leftover steamed cauliflower from the day before. And then I had that egg and cheese omelet from breakfast that I threw in there. And then I had 2 strips of bacon in the fridge that I just threw in. I put Thai basil in there. And then I did a little scoop of cottage cheese as well. So it was just a little leftover bowl again. For a midday snack on Tuesday, I had an apple and I had a chocolate chip oatmeal cookie that is homemade, by the way. And the apple I wanted to share, my favorite brand is from Costco, and it is Rainier, or it could be Rainer. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce it, but those are my favorite apples that I get from Costco. Okay, so for supper on Tuesday night, I did a Chinese 5-spice flank steak. So I cooked the flank steak in the slow cooker for like 10 hours. And then just the last couple hours, I put a little bit of Chinese 5-spice. And we did lettuce boats. So there's romaine lettuce there. So we filled the lettuce with the flank steak. And then we added carrots, cucumbers, fried onions, Thai basil. And then I made a peanut lime sauce dressing, which was peanut butter, coconut milk, lime juice, and gluten-free soy sauce, sriracha, maple syrup, and garlic. And that was really delicious, and I will make sure that I link that recipe. Okay, so Tuesday evening for a snack, I had like 3 tablespoons of a paleo cookie dough chocolate fudge that I made. I made a half batch, and then I kept it in the freezer, and it just kind of I dip into it here and there as a snack, as a treat. And then later on in the evening, I also ate some pickles and some cheese and tzatziki and cucumber. I am definitely an evening snacker. Not that I think that's a good thing. am admitting that I'm an evening snacker, so the whole don't eat late thing, I don't follow that. Again, not that I don't think it's a good idea. I just, while I'm winding down in the evening, I absolutely like to have a snack. I just try and make sure that the portion size is small, like I'm not totally stuffing myself. The portion size is small, and I try and make sure it is decently healthy. This is the cookbook where I got the paleo cookie fudge recipe from. So for Wednesday, the first meal of the day was around noon, and I had an avocado and basil bowl with balsamic dressing and Parmesan cheese shredded on the top. Okay, so Wednesday night for supper, it was my dad's birthday, so we had a family supper. My family came over and we did burgers, roasted potatoes, and Caesar salad. So I had the burgers without a bun, and the roasted potatoes I did in my oven for 25 minutes with Costco's organic no salt seasoning spice, which I'm gonna show you. It is so good. That's what it looks like. There's 21 spices, it's 21 spice blend in there. When you go to get it, it's like $11. So it's kind of like gulp, seems expensive, but it really levels up any recipe very quickly without a lot of effort because there's so many spices and it's so flavorful. We put it on a ton of our roasted veggies and use it as a spice for meat. So I just wanted to share that with you. And then also on the roasted potatoes, I did with avocado oil. And then I made a Caesar salad, which the dressing is homemade. I always make it homemade. I have a really fast and easy, delicious recipe that I will link for you. And then I made Dad brownies in the evening for dessert. Because he is a chocolate lover, and so I thought I would make those for him, and I just made them totally traditional. I didn't try and healthify them or anything. I used the exact recipe from the Fry's cocoa powder, the recipe that's on there, that's what I used, and they were very, very good. Okay, so Wednesday evening, I had another little snack of exactly what I had for supper. So I had more Caesar salad, a bit more roasted potatoes, and a half of a burger patty without the bun. Okay, so Thursday was the day that we did a big farm cattle day, and so I had prepared food for 10 people, and I had prepared it several days ahead of time because I thought we were doing it on a different day, but then it rained and we couldn't. Anyways, so I already had prepared shredded beef, shredded taco beef, and burgers as well. So the shredded taco beef, I took two roast beefs and I cooked them in the slow cooker separately for like 15 hours each. And then I shredded them and I've never made this sauce before. I was just experimenting. So I did a taco seasoning with 3 cans of tomato paste, and then I mixed that with the broth from the roasts. And that was the sauce that I then covered the shredded beef with. And then I did wraps. So that was what I did for lunch. And then for supper, I did burgers, like I said. So I first fried onions and garlic, and then I took ground beef and I added a little bit of spelt flour and a little bit of almond flour and a few eggs to bind it all together. And then I made some patties and I did like 35 burgers. And then for supper, to go with the beef burgers for supper, I also did a Caesar salad and I also did a pasta salad. And then like I mentioned, I also made those cookies as well for snacks. So that was kind of all the prep that I did. And so now I will show you the photos for those. I just wanted to make a note about store-bought wraps as well. So normally I would not buy store-bought wraps, but because I was feeding a crew of people, they're so simple and convenient, I did. But just as a just to share with you my opinion on them. I think that they're highly processed and they are full of additives and preservatives, and I would not put those in the category of a real whole food. I would say that they're highly processed and you'd want to see them as a treat, not as a staple all the time. So for the gluten-free pasta salad, I made a homemade pasta salad dressing recipe that I'm going to link for you guys, and I'll link the pasta salad recipe as well. I just wanted to say, I wanted to show you the gluten-free pasta that I used. It is Barilla, which I have never used this before. I know it's backwards, sorry about that. I have to figure out better how to film the other way, but for now, this is all I can do for you. So Barilla, it's a gluten-free, it's made with corn and rice. I found that this stuff wasn't that good. I have never bought that before, other than just for that event, and it wasn't good. I found that it was quite hard, and the corn, it's gluten-free, but it is corn-based, and so I feel like if you have any gut healing to do, or you're really working on healing or getting healthy, I would say corn is not the best alternative to gluten. It's great if you're trying to go gluten-free, but corn, I would say, is still high on my list of stuff you'd want to avoid. I'll share with you now the gluten-free pasta that I have been loving and that I do use. That is this one from Costco. So this company is Simple Origins Organic Penne. It's lentils, brown rice, and buckwheat. Those are the ingredients of that one. I much prefer that gluten-free pasta. So on Thursday, what my eating day actually looked like was, in the morning, I had a bowl of pasta salad at like 9 in the morning. And then in the afternoon, when we all had lunch, I had the shredded beef taco. So I put that in a wrap and then added like sour cream, guacamole, shredded cheese, romaine lettuce, like all of the fixins. And then I think I had a cookie as well. And then that night for supper, we had the burgers, like I said. So I had 2 bunless burgers with a little bit of pasta salad, and I had some all-dressed chips as well. And then later that evening, when I got home like really late, like 11:30, I had a little bit of toppings from the berry crisp that I made. Okay, so Friday morning, as soon as I woke up, I was into picking off the top of the berry crisp that I had made. And I just wanted to talk about that berry crisp for a minute, as well as the oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. So they were both standard traditional recipes. And for me, like, I made that the way that I did because I was baking for a crew of people. But for me in my house, I do not make traditional standard recipes like that. I bake paleo, like always grain-free, always gluten-free. And I try and always make them as low sugar as I can and as low carbohydrate as I can. And the reason for that is because I do like to eat cookies and I do like to eat muffins and baked goodies. And I just find that with the standard traditional recipes, they're just too high in sugar and they are too hyper palatable. Like, they're so delicious. I just have a hard time having them around. So when I bake, I don't bake like that because I can't keep those things around and eat them in moderation or like have any amount of willpower. I found that they totally just override my willpower, and they're very addictive to me personally. So anyhow, I just wanted to share. That's why I don't like to keep things like that in my house. Like 95% of the time I make low carb baking, low sugar baking, making recipes as healthy as I possibly can so that I can eat them without feeling like totally addicted to the sugar. Because having these oatmeal cookies, I had pre-made them on Monday and then they had to be in my freezer for a few days, and I thought about them every single day and I ate them every day, and they were just constantly on my mind because they were so good. And this berry crisp, like, until it was gone with the leftovers, I was just constantly picking at the top because it was so delicious. So I just wanted to share that, and it's all good in moderation. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just sharing my experience with how I felt about them. Okay, so Friday morning, like I said, I didn't eat any breakfast. I just started to eat some of the crumble off the top of my berry crisp. And then I had to go into town, and I stopped at Tall Timber and got a chocolate croissant and an Americano. And then at home for lunch, I had 2 bunless burgers. Again, we were just eating on leftovers. So 2 bunless burgers and a little bit of pasta salad. And then for supper that night, I made a casserole out of the leftover shredded beef that we had. So it was just super simple and easy. I just did the shredded taco beef with cheese, my Caesar salad dressing, chives, and tomatoes baked in the oven. And then later that evening for dessert, I had a little bit of leftover brownie from the brownies that I made for my dad's birthday. I had them frozen in the freezer, so I just had like half a piece of brownie and a cookie crumbled together, and then I made some fresh whipped cream that I added on top of that. And all of that together in the same day was very poor food combining. It was a lot of protein with a lot of sugar, and that is not recommended. I had awful heartburn, especially that I'm pregnant as well. So it was really awful heartburn, and I would not recommend that food combining. Okay, so Saturday morning, as soon as I woke up, I ate one of those cookies, the oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. Before I even consciously knew what I was doing, I was like going to the freezer and grabbing one of these cookies. And so again, I just wanted to say this is why I don't keep high sugar, hyper palatable food like that in my house. I never eat before I have my first cup of coffee. Like I ate this cookie before I even had coffee, which I never do. And I wasn't even planning on doing it. I was just like eating it before I even knew what I was doing, and it was gone. So I just wanted to share. That's why I don't keep those around. I don't do very well with them. Saturday for lunch, we're just trying to get rid of these leftovers. So we had 2 bunless burgers on some Caesar salad. And then later in the day for a snack, I had an apple and 4 slices of cheese. And then later into the evening, I had 2 bowls of all-dressed chips. Again, okay, so I don't buy all-dressed chips and keep them in my house. We had just bought them for feeding the masses kind of thing, and then we got the leftovers. But I've never bought all-dressed chips actually since I've moved here and since I've been married. So just wanted to say it's not like a classic thing that we would do or that we would have around, but they were here and they're very good. So I had 2 bowls of all-dressed chips. And then later on that evening, again, I had some leftover roasted potatoes with ketchup. So overall, not a stellar healthy eating day. I understand that that day wasn't a very good example. And the thing is that I've wanted to vlog and share what I eat for a long time, but every single week I'm like, no, this week's not a good week. I wasn't a good example, or I didn't eat clean enough, or I ate too much sugar, or I ate too much carbs, or whatever the excuse. I always have a million of excuses. So for this week, I was like, I'm doing it regardless. And some weeks I will do much better than this, and then other weeks will just be how I am eating this week. So that's just how it goes. I just wanted to share with you. So some weeks I will eat much better than this. Like most weeks I eat much better than this, and then there's other times where I'm not being intentional with my eating and it does look like this. So that's just me being real, and I know that there are some good teaching points throughout, even though I didn't eat amazing. So I think it can still be valuable, and that is why I'm doing it anyway. Sunday morning for breakfast, again, I was not an amazing example. We went to A&W for breakfast, which I wasn't planning on doing at all, but my power went out right before church. Like while I was getting ready for church, the power went out, so I wasn't able to make any breakfast for myself. Poor excuse, I know, but then I got to town before church and I was starving, so I asked if we could go to A&W. So I got a sausage and egg and a hash brown and a coffee. And then later in the day, I had some more leftover pasta salad and an apple as a snack and some cheese as a snack. And then supper that night was the last round of leftovers of the shredded taco beef. So I just had a little bit of shredded taco beef, and then I baked some broccoli as well with that Costco organic no salt seasoning spice that I put on the broccoli. And that was everything. Okay, so that is a wrap. That's everything that I ate in the week of June 8th to 14th. I wanted to say again that it wasn't a typical week because normally I would not have food prep like that. I wouldn't have bulk food prep and leftovers to eat. I usually do make something fresh every day, at least one meal every day. So future videos will be quite different. And I also don't usually have like baked goods like that I would eat so much of throughout the week. That's that high in sugar. I do eat dessert like daily, I would say. I am a dessert lover and I do have a sweet tooth, but I make them, like I said, I do my baking as low sugar and as low carb as I can so that when I do have them, it doesn't like totally override my willpower and like derail my health. So wasn't a standard week, but I'm happy and glad that I finally shared it anyway. And if you watched till the end, thank you. And let me know if you found anything in this video to be valuable. And let me know if you're going to try any of the recipes that I had shared. And let me know if you do, in fact, want to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. If you watched to the very end, please leave me a comment and let me know that you watched to the very end because I know it's a long video and I just so appreciate it and I would just love to know who's actually that interested. And yes, I would really, really appreciate it. Please leave me a comment or just let me know that you watched it to the end. That would mean a lot to me. Thank you.